Women of all ages, all size, all skin tones, all religions, all cultures. I wanted women to feel included.
While the world waits for Rihanna's next album, LVMH, the luxury giant behind Louis Vuitton and Dior, is quietly trying to sell its stake in her billion-dollar beauty empire. The singer, who once made millions from tours and streaming, now derives the majority of her wealth from equity stakes in two companies she co-owns, not from music royalties.
Rihanna is officially the wealthiest female musician.
This is the story of how a girl from Barbados built Fenty Beauty and Savage X Fenty into billion-dollar businesses and created a blueprint that's rewriting the rules of celebrity wealth.
I can't tell you where I see myself in 5 years, but I could tell you that I will work my best to be the most successful artist that I can be.
From music star to business mogul, Rihanna's business empire began in 2005 when she left St. Michael, Barbados, signed with Def Jam Records, and released Pon de Replay. Over the next decade, she built one of music's most dominant careers.
With 6 Grammys, 5 American Music Awards, 18 Billboard Music Awards, and a whole host of other accolades and nominations to her name, that's quite a fairy tale for a girl who has yet to reach her 25th birthday.
133.9 million equivalent album sales, 14 number 1 hits on the Billboard Hot 100, more than 257 million digital track sales worldwide.
Rihanna started releasing music in 2005. Since then, she's sold 60 million albums and 215 million digital tracks worldwide, making her the top-selling digital artist of all time.
Her tours generated hundreds of millions. The Last Girl on Earth tour brought in $90 million. The Diamonds World Tour earned $140 million.
Her tours have generated over $290 million in revenue.
By 2016, when she released her last album, Anti, she had something more valuable than platinum plaques. She had a loyal global audience that trusted her taste and followed her moves.
Anti was the first time that I took my time making an album while not being on tour. And that frustrated my fans a bit, and here I am doing it again to them. But Anti, for sure, top favorite album I've ever made.
But Rihanna wasn't waiting for music to define her career. Starting in the early 2010s, she tested the business world through collaborations. Fragrances under her own name, a makeup collection with MAC Cosmetics, footwear partnerships with Manolo Blahnik.
She launched multiple fragrances and established brand partnerships with MAC Cosmetics and Manolo Blahnik.
In 2014, she became Puma's global ambassador and creative director for women's products, designing the Fenty X Puma sneaker line that helped push the company's sales upward during a critical turnaround. These weren't just endorsement deals, they were training.
In 2014, she was announced Puma's creative director for women's products, and over the next few years, the company's sales rose. Puma attributed that sales growth to its partnership with Rihanna.
She learned how products moved from design to production, how retail distribution worked, and what customers actually wanted versus what executives assumed they wanted. By the mid-2010s, the strategy shifted. Instead of lending her name to someone else's business for a limited fee, Rihanna began building companies she would co-own. In 2016, she signed a deal with LVMH, the world's largest luxury conglomerate, to create Fenty Beauty through their Kendo incubator division. A year later, she began working with investors in the United States to launch Savage X Fenty. These weren't celebrity product lines slapped with a famous name. They were actual businesses with ownership structures, revenue models, and long-term growth plans. The real transformation happened in 2017 and 2018. That's when Rihanna stopped being an artist who did business on the side and became an entrepreneur who happened to sing. Inside Fenty Beauty, the first billion-dollar pillar. Fenty Beauty didn't appear overnight. Negotiations with LVMH's Kendo division began years before the September 2017 launch, with formulas developed in California under Rihanna's direct creative control.
We found the formula that works for all skin tones, something that was completely mattifying, but something that you could put on throughout the day as many times as you want without it kicking up.
LVMH reportedly invested around $10 million to secure the partnership. On launch day, September 8, 2017, the brand went live simultaneously in 17 countries across 1,620 stores. LVMH called it the first ever global beauty launch in history. This wasn't a gradual expansion. It was instant worldwide presence backed by one of the most powerful distribution networks in luxury retail. The product that drove the launch was Foundation, available in 40 shades at debut, later expanded to 50.
Fans immediately fell in love with the line because of its inclusivity with 40 different shades of foundation.
For years, Black women, Latina women, and women with deeper skin tones had publicly criticized mainstream beauty brands for offering maybe 10 shades, with the darkest options often poorly formulated or unavailable in stores.
Challenging standards of the industry and essentially reinventing the way makeup foundations can be marketed and sold.
Rihanna made inclusivity the foundation of the entire brand, not an afterthought.
Inclusivity has always been a big deal for us. And we didn't want to change that.
Within the first month, Fenty Beauty generated $72 million in sales, with darker shades selling out so fast that even store testers disappeared from shelves. In the UK, Harvey Nichols sold one Fenty foundation every single minute in September 2017. Here's how the business actually operates. Fenty Beauty is a 50-50 joint venture between Rihanna and LVMH. Kendo handles product development, manufacturing, and supply chain logistics, using LVMH's relationships with factories and ingredient suppliers. Sephora, also owned by LVMH, provides thousands of physical retail locations worldwide. Fenty's own website and select partners handle direct-to-consumer online sales. This structure gave Rihanna something most celebrity founders never get: instant infrastructure. She didn't have to build warehouses, negotiate with retailers, or figure out international shipping. LVMH already had it. In its first full year,
Fenty Beauty made around 500 million euro, or roughly $570 million in sales in its first year.
By 2021, the brand was valued at $2.8 billion.
As of August 2021, Forbes estimates Fenty Beauty's value at $2.8 billion.
Making Rihanna's 50% stake worth approximately $1.4 billion on paper. But the story isn't just growth. By 2024, revenue had declined to around $450 million as the market matured and competition intensified. That's still a strong performance for a 7-year-old brand, but it reflects a shift from an explosive launch to a steady, mature business. To maintain momentum, Fenty Beauty expanded geographically and into new categories. In 2022, it launched in 8 African countries and entered Ulta Beauty stores across the United States, adding thousands of new retail touchpoints. It also moved beyond color cosmetics into Fenty Skin in 2020, a connected but distinct line built on the same infrastructure and brand philosophy. These moves locked in Fenty Beauty as the first major pillar in Rihanna's wealth.
The bulk of it, according to Forbes, is her reported 50% stake in Fenty Beauty, named after her own family name.
But $1 billion brand doesn't make you a business architect. It makes you a one-hit wonder with excellent timing. Rihanna needed a second pillar. Inside Savage X Fenty, the second billion-dollar pillar. In 2018, Rihanna launched Savage X Fenty, a direct-to-consumer lingerie brand built for a digital-first generation. The concept was bold, modern underwear and loungewear designed for a wide range of body types, with pricing positioned between mass-market brands and luxury labels. This was a deliberate step into a completely different industry from beauty, using the same cultural insight. Underserved customers want products that reflect how they actually look.
Pivoted her focus to Savage X Fenty, a lingerie line redefining body inclusivity and setting the fashion world on fire.
Savage X Fenty operates differently from Fenty Beauty. Instead of a 50-50 split with one corporate giant, it's a venture-backed company where Rihanna holds an estimated 30% stake alongside institutional investors.
She reportedly has a 30% stake in the company. Savage X Fenty products are available in a wide range of sizes to promote body positivity.
Early backers included Textile Fashion Group, which helped build the e-commerce platform. Later rounds brought in L. Catterton, an LVMH-backed private equity firm. which led a $150 million Series B funding round in 2021. That round valued the company at $1 billion, placing Savage X Fenty among the most valuable lingerie startups in the world, and adding an estimated $300 million to Rihanna's net worth. The brand operates on a hybrid model. Its core revenue comes from a direct-to-consumer website and a VIP membership program that offers discounts and exclusive access in exchange for recurring monthly purchases. Members pay $49.95 per month unless they actively skip the month between the 1st and the 5th. This creates predictable revenue, the kind investors love. Later, Savage X Fenty added physical retail stores in select US cities and malls, giving the brand visibility beyond digital channels while maintaining tight control over customer data and inventory. One of the brand's most effective tools is the Savage X Fenty Show, an annual fashion event filmed and released on a global streaming platform. These aren't traditional runway shows. They combine music, dance, and theatrical presentation to showcase new collections in a format designed to be watched, shared, and rewatched online. The shows turn a standard product launch into a cultural event that generates millions of earned media impressions and drives direct traffic to the website. It's marketing, entertainment, and product catalog rolled into one piece of content. Savage X Fenty sits alongside Fenty Beauty as the second core pillar of Rihanna's business empire, operating in a different category with a different revenue model and investor structure. Owning 30% of a high-growth apparel company diversifies her wealth from dependence on beauty alone. Together, these two brands form the foundation of her billion-dollar net worth. Not music royalties, not endorsements. Equity in companies she co-owns and helps run. But understanding what Rihanna owns only tells half the story. The real blueprint is in how she protects it. The ownership and discipline behind Rihanna's wealth. The difference between Rihanna's wealth now and her wealth as a touring artist comes down to one word: equity. Her net worth isn't based on how many songs she releases or how many shows she performs. It's tied to the value of her ownership stakes in Fenty Beauty and Savage X Fenty. When those companies grow and become more valuable, the worth of her shares rises with them. When investors value Savage X Fenty at $1 billion, her 30% becomes worth $300 million. When Fenty Beauty was valued at $2.8 billion, her 50% stake was worth $1.4 billion. Earlier in her career, Rihanna promoted other brands as a collaborator, getting paid once or for a limited contract period. Those deals might bring in $5 million or $25 million, but they end. Co-ownership is different. As long as the company stays valuable, her stake continues to generate wealth. Endorsements pay for your time. Ownership pays for the company's performance. That's the shift from celebrity to entrepreneur. Not every venture worked.
She is now the first woman ever to create an original brand for LVMH.
In 2019, Rihanna and LVMH launched Fenty Fashion House, a luxury ready-to-wear clothing line based in Paris and positioned as LVMH's first new fashion brand built from scratch since 1987. Rihanna became the first black woman to lead an LVMH fashion house, but by early 2021, sales had disappointed. The COVID-19 pandemic had devastated luxury retail, and the operational complexity of running 8 collections a year remotely proved unsustainable. LVMH and Rihanna agreed to pause the line indefinitely.
She's a top-selling music artist, actress, and global fashion icon, but none of that, it seems, was enough to keep the lights on at Rihanna's fashion label, Fenty. Parent company LVMH on Wednesday said Fenty's ready-to-wear line would be, quote, put on hold pending better conditions, a rare setback for the French luxury group.
Rihanna personally absorbed a $36 million loss. Instead of pouring more money into a failing project, they redirected resources to Fenty Beauty and Savage X Fenty, the brands that worked. That's discipline. Since releasing Anti in 2016, Rihanna has released almost no new music. She's performed at the Super Bowl and a handful of private events, but her public presence has been carefully controlled. This isn't retirement, it's strategy. Limited exposure maintains a sense of scarcity around her image, which indirectly supports the strength of the Fenty name. She's not oversaturating the market with appearances. She's letting her companies mature while keeping her brand power concentrated.
Even though Rihanna hasn't released an album since 2016, she's made more than $1 billion in the past several years through her other businesses.
So what can other celebrity entrepreneurs, or anyone building a brand, actually learn from this? The $2 billion blueprint. Lessons from the Fenty model. Long-term brands are built around solving specific, real needs that existing players are ignoring, not just repackaging what already exists. Serious wealth comes from holding equity in a company, not just renting out a name for a limited time. Match celebrity influence with corporate infrastructure or investor capital. Don't try to build manufacturing, logistics, and global distribution alone. Create content and events that can be distributed worldwide, rewatched long after launch, and shared across platforms. Strong brands move into new regions and related product lines in a planned way, not randomly or all at once. Cut underperforming ventures early and back the ones that prove themselves. Ego can't drive business strategy. Rihanna transformed herself from chart-topping artist to co-owner of $2 billion brands by building businesses around inclusive products, partnering with institutions that brought capabilities she didn't have, and protecting her equity through disciplined decisions. Her story isn't just about celebrity. It's about structure, timing, and the willingness to cut losses when something doesn't work. The blueprint is clear. Find a gap, own the solution, scale with the right partners, and know when to walk away. If you had Rihanna's level of influence in your industry, would you use it to get paid once through endorsements, or would you use it to build something you actually own? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into how business empires like this are actually built, subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video.